Ladies and gentlemen, James Inhofe's gay friends actually believe that this is a bad ruling for marriage equality.
That's right.
Well, that's not the least of it. You're not going to believe what happens when people can get married to the same sex in all 50 states around this country, what it does to Glenn Beck's ability to broadcast. Listen here.
This changes everything that your kids are now taught in school. This could mean the end of radio broadcasts like mine. I am on now public airwaves regulated by the federal government. If I say, or anybody on this show says, they're for traditional marriage, which I am in my personal life, I don't believe the government has any place in it. So if you are for gay marriage, that's up to you. I and my faith dictate that I am for marriage the way I believe God intended it, between man and a woman.
Pause it. Let's just take stock of where we are now. He seems to be implying that, A, the court ruled that he can't have traditional marriage, as he calls it. Now, it's true, the court has said a long time ago that he can't have traditional marriage insofar as he can't own his wife. But that's really about it in terms of what the court has ever said about Glenn Beck's marriage. They've never really commented on it except for that whole thing about women as chattel. Because I'm presuming he's married to a white woman. The court at one point said that Glenn Beck had the option, if he wanted to marry. Well, I guess he's a Mormon too, so I guess maybe polygamy is the other time. But Glenn Beck can have marriage as he wants it at any time. The issue is, do you get the rights that are afforded when the state acknowledges your marriage? That's the question here. But he's tying this in also to his ability to even express his idea that he likes marriage where it's not, I don't even know what he would express, that he thinks that other people's marriage shouldn't be about marriage equality. He thinks that he's going to get knocked off of terrestrial radio. Continue. Is that really true?
That now puts this radio broadcast in jeopardy because we are on federally regulated airwaves. I will tell you that I am going to begin today looking for other vehicles besides the radio broadcast, just so in a 2-year period, should somebody start to mount this, what does that mean? And now the law has given these activist groups real teeth. The world has changed. This week is going to go down as a very, very historic week. May I suggest we return to God, and we do so quickly. And we beg for his forgiveness on all of the things that we have done wrong to one another. And we try to find our way to one another because the world has changed. The fundamental transformation of America is over. The president has fulfilled his promise 5 days before he started. The fundamental transformation of America is here. We are no longer a country that is following the Constitution of the United States of America. That is a thing of the past.
All right, so let's just break this down. One, what Glenn Beck is saying is that the recent departure of 3 or 4 of his major executives from his network, which has been unable to secure the cable release that they needed from the beginning of their business plan, is indication that he may be looking at a completely different business model, and he needs a reason and an excuse that sounds like it's legit to his moronic audience as to why he would leave terrestrial radio and go perhaps to an all podcast formula. I think that's basically all of it. And also, God's going to help me do this, is what he's saying. This is such a transparent... You remember when Howard Stern went to satellite radio? And Howard Stern was like, I'm sick and tired of the FCC telling me I can't swear anymore. And that may have been true because the FCC did tell him that. And he was occasionally getting harassed and fined. And so he took the $100 million that Sirius Satellite offered him and the freedom. But here's the thing. No one's harassing. The FCC's not harassing Glenn Beck because he's against marriage equality. The FCC's never going to harass Glenn Beck because he's against marriage equality. And Glenn Beck knows this. But his followers don't. So when Glenn Beck comes to them, and he's probably got an 18-month to 24-month, perhaps a 36-month plan to migrate off of terrestrial radio, he's going to say, I've had to do this, and I have told you. It is because of the gays, and they're marrying, that this is going to happen. It's 18 to 24 months is the plan. Because why 2 years? It's going to take 2 years for what? Activists to get the FCC to say that on radio you can't talk about non-marriage equality. What? This is just fascinating look into the way that Glenn Beck uses both his topics and his business plans, and it comes together in one sort of, spreadsheet. Synergy. Yeah, it's synergy. So there it is, Glenn Beck. Time to short terrestrial radio, folks, or to go big in terrestrial radio.